Had a flame in my hand a few minutes ago after refilling this. Exhibiting some behavior I'd never seen in it before. That's not one to light at all. You guys will see a video on this lighter in the morning. I probably should call this an other useful mechanism rather than a lighter, because it's a butane lighter. I don't work on them, I just use them. Take the opportunity when they will hold gas, but you'll see in that video, it'll be published tomorrow morning, that this lighter may have some issues that were not apparent when we had used it before. Anyway, not lighting at all right now. Just hopping on to say hello, see who's out there, see what's going on. Anybody's got any lighter questions or lighter projects that they've got going on? We fueled up this Rogers rocket flame. I'm not sure when the last time we even did a stream was. It may have been 2 Mondays ago, or it may have even been last Friday. I can't remember. Whenever it was, we filled this up, and not only does it still have fuel in it, or it did a while ago when I struck it, but you've seen how finicky it is to get fuel to where the jet flame will even actuate properly. And here it is a week or so later, even though it took us well, you saw me fill it up drop by drop, so I wouldn't fill it up too much, and very finicky in the way it fills up. And not the strongest jet flame, but still pretty good for a petrol jet pipe lighter over a week later, or a week or so later. Hello, Boo Rock Vintage Lighters. Glad to have you with us this morning. You got any videos coming down in your pipeline you want to tell us about? What kind of projects you've got going on, or anything that you're looking forward to that should be arriving soon? I really love these petrol jet pipe lighters, and this one's been fun to tinker around with. Now it's acting like it's practically out of fuel. The Beatty jets have been the best that I've had. They usually work really well. Also just made a couple of videos featuring this lighter. Today is the 4th of April. We filled it up on the 3rd of April. And there you can see that it is still lighting. So you will see some updates perhaps by our shorts feed. And I have carried this with me a couple of times. Have not, as of yet, witnessed any damage that I have done to the finish. So looking to see how that holds up. And I need to pull up the live stream here where I typically monitor it at. It's kind of difficult to keep up with the live chat right there on the screen that I'm trying to keep the camera, or trying to keep the video in view of the camera. Hello, Jamie Clift. Glad to have you with us. I do not have a Ronson Veriflame. I've had a couple. I've even had one or two. Hello, the professor. Glad to have you with us, sir. Glad to have you with us so early. You were with us pretty early last time, too. Yeah, that's what you said last time, too. That's cool, though, man. I'm just glad to see you for a minute. Glad to say hello. That's why I want to do these on a regular basis, keep up with our community, and just get a chance to say hello to everybody here and there. See what's going on. So what do you got going on, Professor? Is it work, school? Any way around it. Glad you've been able to just stop in and say hello. Back to Jamie Clift's question about the Ronson Veriflame. I've had a few of them. I had one early on which actually, I think it held gas, seemed to work well. Most of them that I've had leak gas, so when they leak gas, that's pretty much the end of it. It's not useful to me at that point, and up to this point I have not gotten into repairing butane lighters. Maybe at some point I finally decide just to jump in and see what it's all about. Up to this point, butane lighters just seem like a big headache to me. So I'm more than happy working with, repairing, bringing old petrol lighters back to life, or even using new ones like this Zorro Z66 roller petrol lighter. Not an aluminum block lighter like the original that inspired it, but all the same, a really cool, well executed design of a lighter with some improvements like the removable base plate, perhaps the coil spring as opposed to the sort of limp plunger type spring that was used in the original Automat Cygnuses. Cool, glad to hear it. Boo Rock Vintage Lighters. I've seen your videos on YouTube, also Facebook. I can't recall, are you on Instagram and TikTok as well? I'm on Instagram, Facebook, or I am, but also there's a dependableflame.com profile on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I think that's all of them. The 4 places where we publish video. And of course there are some others. I know Larry Leiter is on TikTok. It seems like there are, not TikTok, Larry Leiter's not on TikTok, I think. Instagram. It seems like there's more of them on Instagram. There's a lot of lighter content on Instagram. Now, Jad, our buddy, Eastwad Doon Flom, he is on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. He's on all of them. So it seems like the one place, I guess there's still some people that are leery of TikTok. So, but there's a good, solid community of vintage lighter enthusiasts, or really just petrol lighter enthusiasts in general, on Facebook. You got all the Facebook groups, and then of course YouTube. YouTube is awesome for it. Then Instagram may be the overall best. I wouldn't call it my best. I think that really the community we have here on YouTube is great. I love it. I think it's the best social media for this kind of community, because you're trying to show things off. And you can do that on Facebook also, so Facebook is pretty good for it. Instagram is good. It's good for that. It is. But some of the, you don't, the comments on Instagram, and that all depends on the profiles too. It's so hard to grow social media profiles, and we have been blessed with the way that the DependableFlame.com Facebook group has grown. I'm very pleased with that. The DependableFlame.com page has not grown at the same clip, but that's okay. There's different purposes for those two. But the same way with the Instagram. I just started the Instagram and TikTok here in the last year, maybe a little bit more. So I'm still relatively new on both of those. So there may be others, like we've mentioned Iswa Doom Flam. He's got incredible success on all of those, but especially on TikTok. I mean, his videos are just out of this world, the views that they get. And of course, he's a master craftsman in the way he puts those videos together as well. Very well done. So, you've got all ends of the spectrum, from one end to the other. Extremely polished to just casual and somebody showing off a lighter. You've got repair videos, you've got show and tell videos. As like with Iswa, he includes the patent information on all of his, that I can remember anyway. So, looking up patents and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't seem fun to me. It's not where I've ever spent my time, but I'm glad that he does. I'm glad to see those videos, and that's why I've always said there's the more the merrier. There's room for everybody who wants to produce content about vintage petrol lighters. More than enough room, because everybody's going to do it a little bit different, and everybody will provide a little bit different insight, a little bit different value. It's all valid. Whoever's perspective that wants to share. Excuse me. And the rest of us would love to see it. So. Mentioned Friedrich a while ago, and the butane lighter. This lighter was a gift from Friedrich. A little over a month ago. I fueled it up the day I got it. I think it's very interesting, after I just fueled this up and made a video on it, that now it's not lighting at all. So you guys will get to see that video tomorrow morning. But as I mentioned earlier, or I think I mentioned it here on the stream, we're not going to be publishing those videos on Saturday morning anymore. We're going to push that to Monday morning. And then also we'll keep publishing a short each day at noon, and also may extend that to Saturdays as well. So maybe 6 shorts a week, try to fit in a live stream and also publish a video on Monday morning. It's a really nice looking lighter, lightweight. Be an awesome lighter if it would hold gas and function properly. I questioned in that video that I just recorded with it at one point whether the piezo was even working. And I'm not going to fuel it up again here right now, but kind of disappointing. I hope I actually had to use that lighter, put it in my pocket and carried it with me for a little bit. But no, that's kind of my, what you've just seen, Jamie Clift, with this butane lighter is pretty much my experience with all old butane lighters sooner or later. They're either the piezo fails, which is not very common. Normally it's the seals that fail, so you got gas pouring out where it shouldn't be, out the back end or out the top, which if it's pouring out the top, then, well, either way you could have a problem if you ignite that gas, which is what happened in my hand earlier. Had a little explosion. So that's why if you look at the head of our channel page, it says vintage petrol lighters, Tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Actually, I think it says vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, Tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. So I put these butane lighters in an other useful mechanism. The lighters that we demonstrate repair on, the lighters that we work on, the lighters that I can really help you with when it comes to getting one back up and running are petrol lighters. As far as any butane lighter, if this one won't hold gas or ignite, then it'll just be no good to me. At this point, I'm not going to take it apart and try to replace any seals or anything like that. But maybe at some point, maybe I'll get bored enough with petrol lighters at some point. But to this point, it hasn't happened. I haven't ran out of work to do with petrol lighters to where I was curious enough to start opening up butane lighters. I've got like a 5-liter kit worth of roller gas seals and all that stuff in there, but never even got around to attempting one of those. Still kind of acting like it's vapor locked or something. It's been a fun lighter to mess with, but oh, there we go. But obviously not a reliable lighter. Although you probably could. It might be a frustration to you, but off of that flame you just saw, you could have get you a good hit off of a bowl from that. Suck that down into your pipe. Hello Mark, glad to have you with us. Hello Ahmet, glad to have you with us as well. Hope I haven't missed anybody else. Yeah. Jamie, I will tell you this, there's a few people out there. The one that you'll hear most often is, now I can't remember is it ARS? Something, Authorized Repair Services. It's in North or South Carolina. They might be able to repair your Veriflame. Probably could. Also, the person that I can vouch for, I've had plenty of dealings with myself, not repairing butane lighters, but just as far as his honesty and integrity as a person, and we've traded back and forth and things like that, is my buddy Donald Hind. The website lighterfix.dk, and I believe that website is in his native language, which is Danish, I think. But you can translate it. Google will translate it to you for English. And he speaks pretty good English. He's always never had any problem communicating with me. But Donald specializes in repairing Ronson butane lighters. And I don't know about this one. Like I said, this is a little bit newer. This is a piezoelectric. But you're not asking me about this one. You're asking me about a Veriflame. So, yeah, I think Donald could probably help you with a Veriflame. It would just be a matter of if he can send you parts to repair it yourself, which he may have those parts that he can sell you. He may be able to offer some guidance, or may even offer you a solution to where you could send him the lighter and then him get it back to you. I don't know. But I know that Donald is big on the repair of Ronson butane lighters. So I would definitely say to contact him. And just to answer Ahmet and Mark, you guys saying hello. I'm doing fine. Just hopping on to say hello, see what everybody's got going on, what kind of projects you might be looking to do. Anybody's got any questions? I'm going to have my grandkids here tonight, spending the night, a couple of them. And it looks like we're going to be alone for a large part of the evening, so it's going to be an adventure, but really just part of a continuance of the adventure I've been living, because that's one reason why I've been having I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for even is, trying to figure out the right schedule for publishing videos, because I am spending more time these days, and I don't think it's always going to be this much time, but I have spent most of my weeks here lately with those two same grandkids. So not as much time to fit in publishing lighter videos and all that kind of stuff, but trying to get it all, try to figure out a happy medium to do it all. These kids are only going to be young once. Won't be able to get this time back. Oh yeah, there was fires they were all around, most of it up north, and the governor's throwing a hissy fit about it now, firing the whole Forestry Service, and people that had been in those jobs for years and knew what they were doing. Suddenly the governor's throwing a fit because his house, or one of his houses, burned down. He didn't even live here. Lived in Illinois most of his life, I believe. Now he's worried about one house he lost out in Jones, Oklahoma. So yeah, did not come close to me, and I don't remember. I don't think we had any loss of life during those fires here, and it was basically all on that one Friday. Take it easy, Professor. Glad you were able to join us for a bit, and hope to see you next time. Cool. Jamie says, yes, you helped me with rewicking a Zippo over a year ago. Been following since. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Zippos are, probably the most common petrol lighter that people are familiar with. Hello, Junior Knife Collector. Glad to see you again. So, yeah, they seem pretty simple. You might look at it most of the time and think, well, what really is there to a Zippo? It may not, some people, it may not seem that. It's a pretty elementary, pretty basic setup, but there are some nuances to that. Wicking your lighter, wadding it, whatever. The way that you keep the wick manicured, or what position you keep it in, and all that kind of stuff. When you say Omega, you're talking about Omega petrol lighters, like the enameled raised brass type lighters, like the State series. Ronson clone type super lighters. Yeah, I love them, man. I love them. They can be very reliable for use. But they're some of the best looking lighters out there. Yeah, those and flat advertising lighters, the graphics. I don't think I have anything. Yeah, let me go grab another container. Maybe I have something that I can kind of use it as an example. Here's a flat ad lighter, and not as detailed as you'll see with some of those State series and other Omega type lighters. There's a guy, Jamie, I believe I believe he calls them Omega lighters, and he may even have a page for it, or it may just be like a Swedish lighter site. But the guy's name is, I believe, Inge Jakobsen. Look him up on Facebook. But there's one of the Facebook lighter groups, and it's run by that gentleman that I just mentioned, Inge Jakobsen. And he doesn't focus on flat ad lighters like these, but on those Omega lighters that you're asking about. I don't have any of those here right now. I only bring this one out to show you that it's a similar kind of thing where you get raised elements of the metal that then are filled in with paint or enamel. I don't know exactly what the paint is, but yeah, I love the Omega type lighters, the State Series lighters, whatever it is, if they're advertising or just promotional, souvenir, whatever you'd call them. And I'd put these flat advertising lighters right there in the same category, or right there for me, the same appeal. I like them both. I think they're excellent lighters. You could build a tremendous collection just of flat ad lighters, or just of those Omega lighters that you asked about. So I'm trying to remember, I recorded that video this morning. I have at least, I believe, 2 other videos that I've already recorded, but I don't remember what either one of them were about. So there's definitely going to be a video, that, like I said, you'll see the video on an update on this and the other butane lighter that Friedrich asked about. See that video in the morning. And I was really just answering your question a while ago, Jamie, when you asked about the Bearflame, but it really is. I mean, every butane lighter eventually, even the new butane lighters that I buy to keep my dab straws, of course they're all cheap plastic crap, but other than the jet lights. Matter of fact, let me go grab my double torch butane Zippo insert because it wasn't working on me last night. Filled this thing up. Excuse me. Filled this thing up, just like I have been. Turned it all the way up and then just down a notch, and wouldn't light at all. I'm really at a loss. It's all the way up. Definitely not going to light with it all the way down. Pretty faint, but you can see that piezo spark there. I don't know, I'll blow it out. Seemed like it was an actual fuel problem though, the way it worked, because it didn't light right after I filled it. And this has been my go-to for the dab straws here the last 2 or 3 months. Yeah, I don't even know what I walked in there for. That's another one. The Jeep, that I think that was the second filling on that lighter, that so it filled up okay, but won't work anymore. No, maybe this was the first one I had. That was the charcoal color one that only filled twice. This one I used for a good while before it quit igniting. Not sure if you can still see that piezo working at all or not. Piezos usually last a long time, but who knows? I mean, a $5 cheap lighter at Walmart, maybe they've got a cheap way to make it piezo ignitions that aren't as reliable as you would think, or they used to be. Who knows? Yeah, no problem, Sam. Or Jamie. I'm sorry, I don't know what made me say Sam. I think I was looking at 5 a.m. through my peripheral vision there. Glad you joined us today. Always glad to answer your questions if I'm able. And hope you can join us again. Yeah, I can imagine. Spent a good deal of my life working odd schedules, nights and overnights, trying to sleep during the day. It can be a miserable experience, so. And I got to run a few errands myself this morning, so like I said, I was just hopping on to see what everybody was up to here for a few minutes. See if we might be able to answer a question or two, or maybe you guys could fill me in on what kind of projects you had going on. I've got about 1 million videos I need to make, and some of them have lighters that have been set down and had other stuff set down on top of them, and then other stuff on top of the hat. But we'll get around to all of them sooner or later, hopefully. But I need to go at some point and gather up some healthy snacks for those kids to eat this weekend. Tonight specifically. Kite Festival in Oklahoma City tomorrow. Scissortail Park, which we look forward to every year, but now it looks like there's a 100% chance of rain and a high of 46, and we're going to have snow flurries tomorrow evening, so I don't know. I'm game, whoever wants to come down and walk down to the park with us, but looks like it may be cold enough that nobody wants to go. Are you talking about this one, Mark? This one did. This one was really good, to the point that I bought it on our trip to Galveston. That September, either late September or early October, and I paid $4 or $5 for it. It was great, perfect the whole trip. Fueled it up several times when I got home, used it, and was looking for another. Finally found another one, but I think by the time I found the other one, this one had already quit working on me. So I thought, well, that'll, if I can get for $4 or $5, get that much use out of it. Well, then the other one, the first time I filled it up, it quit, or it wouldn't accept fuel. That's what it was. I purged it. Nothing was coming out, but it would not accept fuel. Yeah, they're just, I don't know. I guess you just got to spend a lot of money to have one that's really dependable. So I'll keep dealing with my jet lights and have a propane torch handy and make what I got work as best I can. It's been spring-like weather for a month or more here now. now here today it's dreary, rainy, and gonna be like that for a few days, looks like. Was looking through old videos. I don't think it was one of them that I grabbed to re-edit as a short, but one of my oldest videos, like one of the first 5 videos that I ever published, maybe even the first, maybe in the second video I ever published, was a Rogers rocket flame. And I think I'd had at least another one between this one, maybe not. But I did notice in that video, I don't know whether it said Japan, but it said Rogers rocket flame. I've mentioned several other times before that I remembered having one that I thought had the graphic of a rocket, but that may have been the Champ Jetstream. I may have been confusing that in my memory with the Champ Jetstream. And it's possible even that Rogers rocket flame video, I have to pull out my other iPad and look at that here in a minute. That was the second video we ever published, and that was sometime in July, maybe August of 2018. So it's always been interesting to me that this one is just marked Rogers, Japan, but I've seen others like this as well listed on eBay that they are clearly the Rogers rocket flame mechanism, but on the bottom only marked Rogers, Japan. Yeah, I had inadvertently missed some of the chat up here. Jamie had said, I hear you, my eldest daughter is 20, and I got a 3-year-old son and a 2-year-old son. Wow, yeah, time flies. Wow. Yeah, that's quite the difference you got there. I've got 5 grandkids. The youngest was just born about 3 weeks ago now. And the oldest is 12, about to turn 13. These 2 that I watch on a regular basis, they are, one of them is about 14 months, and the other is, excuse me, will be 3 years old in June, so they're about 1.5 years apart. Man, yeah. Keep me on my toes. Yeah, I would like to get, I'll go get, I think I've pulled it out here before. It's really too big for the video set. And it's also very loud. But this is my propane torch because I have gone through those other cheaper little $10 or $15 Burns-O-Matics the piezo on those fails way quicker than any other piezo I've ever encountered. So just to keep from buying those so often, I went with this one, which isn't that much more, about $5 more. I think it was under 20 bucks. And it works great. It's just really loud. And it's not portable that you can take it with you anywhere. You know, so. I'm never going to be happy, and I get it. People are always telling me, get this, get that. I know that those things are available, but what I really need is something that will fit in my pocket, like a Zippo, and can have enough fuel life, you know, last you a day, and be reliable enough to ignite every time you use it. But with butane, it just seems like it's Murphy's Law. Whatever will go wrong, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. And it's just like, it's sort of like the screw tape lighters. It's like there's demons working behind the scenes in those lighters to make them fail. But I would like, you know, it would be really cool if I had like a hose that I could hook up to a propane tank, and then it had a little trigger, and you know, more adjustable, something fine. You know, the flame that I get from a jet light, a Ronson jet light, is about perfect for heating a dab torch. The double torch works great too. It's a little bit too much because you don't really need both of them, but the heat that you get from the proximity while you're heating the one definitely is going to heat the tip a little bit better. And so I'm just saying that's kind of the flame. The ideal flame for me would be a big Ronson jet light flame, or sort of a medium double, and probably the Zippo. My Zippo single torch, I never had any, it wasn't reliable at all. Anyway, I really like the idea of all these. Maybe I need to try the Vector inserts, or does Zorro make butane inserts? I gotta tell you, when you're talking about the functionality of Zippo lighters compared to the functionality of Zorro lighters, so far with me it is night and day, and it's not even comparable. For me to be striking up this Zorro lighter over a month after it was fueled, I really do believe if you're a pack-a-day smoker, maybe not. Maybe you're going to go through fuel more than evaporation being a problem. But for somebody like me who isn't a tobacco smoker, but will walk outside and smoke a medical marijuana product from time to time, I believe that with this lighter I can fuel it no more than 12 times a year. And that seems crazy compared to a Zippo or any other petrol lighter I've ever used. But they've sealed it off against evaporation. The only real weak point is in the snuffer, and I believe it was Friedrich that pointed out that the snuffer is spring loaded. So while you don't have a rubber seal here sealing off that wick, you do have the pressure of that spring loaded snuffer cup that at least keeps that pressure down and isn't going to let it just run out of there like a sieve. Also got the seal O-ring on the base of the fuel screw. There is a rubber seal in the screw that holds the bottom base of the removable base of the lighter on there. Really is an excellent lighter. Not just functional, but the finish is incredible. Great lighter. And we've talked about it. I do appreciate that they mark their lighters so clearly. This one marked sealed Zorro 666. And I sure would have preferred that it not have that number on it, but I've seen several places online where it has been cataloged as the Zorro Z666, and maybe that makes it a little more palatable to come off some people's tongues, so I got no problem calling it that as well. I do not believe that by this lighter having the number 666 on it, that by using this lighter you would be accepting the mark of the beast or anything like that, unbeknownst to you, because they had engraved it on the lighter. I don't think that's what the Bible means by the mark of the beast. I don't think it's something that you can take by mistake or by the use of the copy of an old petrol lighter. But like I said, I still would have preferred had it been 665 or 667. The nifty thing about the Cygnus is that you can adjust the flint tension at any time. Just with the roll of that thumb roller. And this copy here is also designed in a way that it'll bottom out right there where the old ones will run on in. So I don't use very many brand new lighters. Filled up several Zippos that were brand new. And there have been some others throughout, but just not brand new manufacturer lighters. Zippos would have been the only ones really. But this is just a whole other level of precision, of craftsmanship. You see people every year when those collectibles of the year for Zippo come out, they're unhappy with something about the finish, or Zippo screwed up something about the insert that was included. There's always some kind of, you know, the hinges are loose, the finish is off, crooked, things like that. This lighter is well made. Really nice looking. And as with some of the other reproductions we've talked about, you can buy on Amazon, and some of the Zorros at least do appear to be marked clearly for what they are. And they do make a lot of mechanisms that were clearly inspired by other vintage mechanisms. But they seem to be offering some of them, and it's kind of a wide range of prices, but this lighter being less than $30 seems very fair to me. Some of the others a little bit more expensive, and I wonder why. With everything that this lighter has, you can get it on eBay for $27, $28, something like that. Really affordable price for a very nice luxury lighter, to be honest. that unless you're some kind of chain smoker, like I said, I think you could fill this up once a month and be good. 4 droppers of fuel or so. Only need 48 droppers of fuel in a year and always have a fueled lighter in your pocket. How awesome is that? Mark says, I'm glad it's working so well for you. I love my 915s. Is that 915s or 915S? I'm not that familiar. I remember seeing the 915 when I looked up, but I can't remember whether it had an S on it. So they also have a kind of a wide range of the numbers that they use to delineate their models. At some point, I plan to completely disassemble this lighter, including the hinge, including the roller, the automatic roller mechanism. There's just nothing about this lighter so far that I don't like. And it seems really crazy to me because, especially with the Cygnus aluminum block roller lighters, the vintage Cygnus lighters, of course being aluminum block lighters, you didn't have to worry about that's the other thing. There's another seal where the base plate fits in here. There's a thick rubber O-ring that goes around that to seal that off. You didn't have to worry about that with an aluminum block lighter. And yet those lighters get so short amount of fuel life. Like a week is the best. That's with a rubber seal. And of course it was just the machined aluminum snuffer that closed down, and they have good spring tension on them, so most of them close pretty tight, but still any more than a week would have been too much. Where you get a little bit more fuel in here, so that accounts for some of it, I'm sure, but you're also not having any evaporation, I don't think, or very, very little. So that's awesome to have a whole month out of it. Okay, gotcha. So S is part of the part number. It's a big old heavy thing, but boy, how'd it work like I'll get out. So it's like is it thicker than armor? I still haven't even had my hands on an armor Zippo. I'm gonna have to get an armor Zippo at some point. I'd like to experience what that's all about. And I appreciate you guys hopping on, saying hello this morning. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have to go run an errand or two, gather up some stuff for the kids to be here tonight. But look out for the video on this butane lighter tomorrow morning. And then there will also be, excuse me, a video published Monday morning. Full-length videos, and then also for the time being we're going to try to publish a short every day at noon except for Sunday. So Monday through Saturday. I wonder now if this thing finally just had a seal just fail. And not only failed, but almost catastrophically, to where it'll hold butane for just a minute. I was able to ignite it in that video, and I actually pumped fuel in it twice in that video, but now it's not lighting at all. And maybe pumping that stronger. Like I said, there's a lot of pressure behind some of that butane. I think that it may be harder on those old seals, where some of the newer ones maybe. I know I've been told that, I think it was Jen Kim, that said that those new butane valves and seals are built to withstand that pressure, that you can't overfill them, but I don't know that the old ones are. And this one certainly seems to have failed. But I appreciate all you guys joining us. Mark says, I'd say about okay, so about 5 times thicker than an Armor Zippo. Wow, and an Armor Zippo is like about another half as much, about 50% more than a regular Zippo. Hello, Dylan. Been a while, my friend. Oobla doobla. Well, I guess the last time I saw you was on the ZF77 live stream a couple of, well, what was that, maybe about 3 weeks ago now? Anyway, glad to see you, my friend. Just wrapping it up. Going to run a couple of errands before I pick up my grandkids here in a couple of hours. You like turtles. We see a lot of turtles down at the Myriad Gardens down here in Oklahoma City. We pass it every week on the way down to the farmer's market. There will be these tiny little turtles climbing up on the rocks. Yeah, that sounds really thick there, Mark. Is it uncomfortable to carry? Sounds like a bit much. I think it's interesting that this Rogers rocket flame, just a finicky lighter all the way around, not just fueling it up and getting the jet to actuate, because the jet actually still working decent. Not a straight torch like you would want, but enough you could light a bowl. And acting like it maybe doesn't have fuel or so vapor locked. 10, 12 strikes in a row, nothing. It's odd. Not with this Zorro though. Thing lights up every time. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye, run my errands, get the weekend started. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We've been on here just about an hour. If I see any other live streams over the weekend, I'll try to hop on there as well. I don't know, has Dylan, has ZF77 done one since that one a couple of weeks ago? That was fun jumping in, seeing everybody for a few minutes. But as I mentioned, I'll see you guys in a video in the morning, also Monday morning, and every day except Sunday at noon. Look for a short. Okay, cool. I'll try to hop on, have it in my ear. We'll probably be watching a Disney movie or something around here, so we'll see. But I'll see you guys, like I said, every day at noon except Sunday. And get over to the website as well. I published an article, have another one that I'm writing right now. So trying to write more lighter articles over there. Also the dependableflame.com Facebook group. And, well, of course, TikTok, Instagram, all those other places as well. But mostly, this is the main community. This is the main place that I publish lighter videos, and most of those other videos that get published elsewhere are recycles of what we've done here. So I will see you guys soon. Like I said, in the morning for the last time on a Saturday for a full-length video. And then Monday morning for another full-length video, and then we'll start that schedule from there. Until next time.